Hello everyone. Let us learn the third primary rule of interpretation, that is the golden rule. It is known as the golden rule because it solves all the problems of the interpretation. This rule says that to start with we shall go by the literal rule. However, if the interpretation given by the literal rule leads to absurdity, ambiguity or injustice, then in such events the literal meaning shall be discarded and the interpretation shall be done in such a manner that the purpose of the legislation is fulfilled. This rule suggests that the consequences and effects of interpretation deserve a lot more importance because they are the clues of the true meaning of the words used by the legislature and its intention. At times, while applying this rule, the interpretation may be done entirely opposite of the literal rule, but it shall be justified because of the golden rule. The presumption here is that the legislature does not intend certain objects. Thus, any such interpretation which leads to unintended objects shall be rejected. This rule is also known as modifying rule. This rule was originated in the case Gray vs. Pearson in the year 1857. There are two approaches to interpret golden rule. First one is narrow approach, when words or phrases are capable of more than one literal meaning. This allows the judge to apply the meaning that avoids absurdity. The second is broad approach, when there is only one literal meaning, but applying that one literal meaning could cause an absurdity. Under this approach, the court will modify the meaning to avoid absurdity. Advantages of golden rule is that it allows the judges to choose the most sensible meaning when there are more than one meaning to the words. Second one, where there is a problem using literal meaning, then this golden rule provides a route of escape. Third one is it provides reasonable decision when the literal meaning would lead to absurd decision. Last one is it respects the parliament except in limited situations. Disadvantages of golden rule. There are no guidelines as to when golden rule can be used. Second one, it is very limited in its use. It can be used only in very rare occasions. Third one, it is not always possible to predict whether the court will use golden rule. Outcome of the case will be dependent on the judge. What seems absurd to one judge may not seem absurd to another. Now let us see some case laws of golden rule. First one is UP Bhudan Yagna Samiti versus Brij Kishore. Court held that the term landless person given under section 14 of Bhudan Yagna Act signified landless laborers only and not landless businessmen, since the object of the land was to provide land to laborers who were engaged in agriculture and not to businessmen. One more case is Assessing Authority versus Patiala Biscuits Manufacturers. This issue was regarding interpretation of the words possession of the registration certificate in the Punjab General Sales Tax Act 1948 and the rules made thereunder was involved. The SC held that interpreting possession as factual possession will lead to unnecessary and unavoidable hardship. It is sufficient if the dealer, after having completed all essential formalities, has already submitted his application for registration. Thus, the dealer could give his registration number to the appellant on a later date but after having covered the earlier period along with a declaration.